Considering you have season tickets, outside of Bedard, do you have a favorite player?
Give me someone who I got to be excited about.
Tyler Bertuzzi, who's a good net front guy. He's a skill guy, could play on the top lines. Teuvo Teravainen, like he's nasty. That's going to be a very difficult loss for the Carolina Hurricanes to get over.
It was smart how they took this offseason where, like, when you get a guy like Bedard, you could be like, all right, well, we're going to sell tickets now. We can just wait, slowly build up. They're actually going to put a competent team, like you said, around him.
Something.
Right. Give him something. Try to maybe get that 8th seed, 7th seed. I don't know. They're not going to be great, but they could be in the playoff mix.
No.
I've been seeing a lot of material recently about the Chicago Blackhawks, and the conversation is often around whether or not they're going to make the playoffs this season. Listen, I love the Chicago Blackhawks. I think Connor Bedard is going to be a legend, but this takes time. You got to be patient. In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about where we could expect to see the Chicago Blackhawks next year in March. So let's talk about it.
You got yoga pants under your gear or what?
The Chicago Blackhawks kick off the preseason tonight by facing off against the Red Wings. Will Patrick Kane be playing? Either way, this is going to be a game to watch for the new prospects, get an idea of who we're going to see on the ice, and who might get their chance later on in the season. As it stands now, the first two lines on Chicago will consist of Taylor Hall, Connor Bedard, Tyler Bertuzzi, Lukas Reichel, Philipp Kurashev, and Teuvo Teravainen. What do you think of those first two lines? All recognizable names, right? But how is Taylor Hall and Tyler Bertuzzi going to support Connor Bedard? And how well will Kurashev and Reichel perform this season? It's a real prove-it year for Lukas Reichel. He needs to demonstrate that he can play a full season and achieve double-digit goals. If we're talking about Hall, he needs to just hang in there. As long as he gets some touches on the puck, I don't think he's going to look like he's washed up. I'm not too worried about Teravainen. I'm not too worried about Bedard. And I will say, I think that Bertuzzi was an excellent selection to support Bedard on the first line. Although, is Bertuzzi a true first line forward? Not in an ideal world, but that's why you have to be patient. This team is building towards a dynasty, and while it might take some time to do it, I don't think it'll take very long to see the fruits of their labor. As long as the management staff makes smart choices. And I think selecting Lefshunov in the draft was a great start. Obtaining Bertuzzi through a contract that might have been a little bit generous for an individual of his talents was a stepping stone towards something bigger. Not to say Bertuzzi couldn't be a part of the franchise for years to come. I just think that the Blackhawks will be looking for young players that can join Connor Bedard on his timeline. That's why you see the captain of the team, Nick Foligno, on the third line. That's not typical for a captain. Captain's supposed to be more of a difference maker, right? Well, I think that he will be making the difference, but it's going to be in the locker room, and it's going to be mentoring the younger players on the team, which I think he is phenomenal at. I've never met him personally. I've only seen what he does in interviews, a little bit of locker room talk here and there, and that's allowed me to form some sort of an opinion about what type of captain he would be. And he seems impressive, but who knows? Obviously, he was picked for a reason. So realistically, where could we see the Blackhawks this season? Where are they going to end up in the Central Division? Well, few things have really changed in the Central Division. There's a lot of competition. Some of these big teams aren't just going to fall in the sky. The Stars, for example, they're going to be a solid team again this season. The Jets, I think as long as Hellebuck stays healthy, they're going to be all right. The Colorado Avalanche, Nathan McKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, Cale Makar, those are all top tier players in the NHL. If you're hoping for the Chicago Blackhawks to make it into the playoffs, you're hoping for some of these players to get injured, which is not really a satisfying way to root for your team. With Colorado, Nichushkin is supposed to make his return as well. Say what you will about Nichushkin, but he can definitely add some points to the team. Predators are going to continue to be strong. Stamkos, who knows what they're going to do. So right there, Stars, Jets, Avalanche, Preds, they're all going to be in the mix for the playoffs. From there, I think the Blues continue to make a push for a wild card spot. The Wild might be able to hang in there, and I don't know if they'll be able to perform as well as they did last season. But that leaves Utah and Chicago. I think it'll be probably a fight between Utah and Chicago for 7th and 8th place. And I think ultimately that's what Chicago fans can best hope for with Chicago, ending in 7th place. You think I'm being a little bit too negative? If you don't completely agree with me, how confident are you in Peter Mrazek? There's no doubt, though, I will be watching Chicago this season. They're an extremely exciting team to see develop. And I think instead of hoping for a playoff spot, you should instead hope to see Bedard take that next step, along with Lukas Reichel. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not already a whiskey fiend. And as always, I'll see you down below in those comments.